What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the July 16, 2022 edition of Talking Smack, hosted by Jackie Redmond and Matt Camp. They start out the show running down the biggest headlines from SmackDown on Friday, which, as I discussed yesterday in my audio review of the show, bit of a better show than what we've gotten in recent weeks. Not a bad show. By SmackDown standards, it was a bit better than usual, as I mentioned. Not a great show, but any improvement is a positive, I will say that much. From there, they replayed the New Day Viking Raiders segment, which I was not a fan of personally. And we hear from the New Day backstage, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston still in character, still acting like Vikings and doing the dumb accents aside from a brief period there from Kofi Kingston. But they tell Megan Morant, you have to call us the new vicious New Day. And so now they're making it a point to kind of make fun of the fact that WWE has the commentators refer to the Viking Raiders as the new vicious Viking Raiders. So now even people within the company, New Day doesn't really care about that sort of thing, about getting heat, so to speak, or going against the company line or whatever. They don't really give a shit about that stuff more often than not, so I can't really say I'm surprised. But they play up the whole Viking Raiders thing and the cosplaying and shit for a couple minutes. They talk about, or Woods mentioned, how they come from a long lineage of Raiders in Minnesota, which popped me. I thought that was funny. Kofi Kingston said no one recognized them backstage and no one knew they were the New Day when they were doing the accents and the makeup and everything else they were doing, and that was about it. Kind of a dumb interview here, but I appreciate their commitment to the characters, I will say that. Matt Camp says that Jeff Jarrett belongs in the middle of that tag team title match at SummerSlam, and everyone should be on notice if he shows up with a guitar in hand. From there, they replay Drew McIntyre beating Ridge Holland. Matt Camp says that Sheamus and McIntyre will beat the hell out of each other when that match inevitably comes to pass. Hopefully soon. Probably at SummerSlam, but hopefully soon. From there, they replay the latest Lacey Evans promo from SmackDown, going off on the audience. Backstage, Lacey not only goes off on the audience again, like the WWE Universe, the fans or whatever, but she specifically fucking ripped Megan Morant a new one. And I like Megan Morant. I think she's all right. Lacey Evans just did not cut this woman a break. She just literally went off on her, saying you'll never be a great wife, you'll never be a great mother, you'll never be good at your job, you'll never do a quarter of the things that I've done. I am an example of everything that every American should want to be, man, woman, whatever, and they should be on their knees worshiping her. And honestly, I think Lacey Evans is handling the promos well. I still think it was too soon to turn her heel without giving it more time to breathe. Yeah, they booed her at Money in the Bank, but who's to say that would have been the case every week? I mean, they didn't even try. I think the thing is, what doesn't exactly feel organic about this to me was that the idea was to turn her heel from the get-go. It wasn't as if the plan was always to have her be this patriotic babyface, and then they turned on her. Like, I mean, maybe with Kurt, that might have been intentional too. With Kurt, it was a bit of a different story. Kurt wasn't on TV talking about, his parents, just being shitty parents and dying and all this other sort of sad stuff. Pretty tragic, hard-hitting stuff. Kurt Angle was not on TV talking about that. Lacey Evans was, which is why this doesn't exactly sit well with me. But again, she's making the most of the material, and she's doing what she can with it, and she's playing the role well, so I give her credit in that respect. Matt Camp makes a great point here. He goes, that was not a real apology from Lacey Evans on SmackDown when she said that, I'm sorry to anyone I offended. He said that she may as well have just written up the apology on a fucking note, one of the Notes app on the iPhone, which I thought was funny. He says that he was in Vegas for Money in the Bank and outright admits she got booed in that match. Why? He doesn't know. And he doesn't really take the audience to task for that, because why would they boo her? It really doesn't make much sense, because she didn't do anything worth booing. I mean, she literally, if anything, the crowd are just a bunch of fucking insensitive assholes for booing this woman talking about such a sad sob story from a few months ago. But he mentioned how she tried to turn over a new leaf once before. It didn't work. She's doing the same thing here. And sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. From there, they replay the Liv Morgan-Natalya match that was won by Liv Morgan. Matt Camp and Jackie Redmond both agree that Liv Morgan thrives as the underdog, and that's going to be the case again when she defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam. They also replay Austin Theory, taking on Madcap Moss, Moss winning by DQ. Backstage, Madcap Moss tells Megan Morant, a lot of M's there. He says that he and Theory will mix it up. He'll mix it up with Theory any day of the week, and he's not happy with the way that he won. And he acknowledges that there was a split crowd for his match. He said, half of them were into Theory, half of them were into me, which I didn't notice while watching the match, but I guess that was the case. I don't know. He says that if Theory keeps coming at him, he'll continue to lay him out and beat him up and get the better of him. The same thing will happen time and time again because he's built different. So I guess that's the catchphrase they're going with Moss now. And not exactly original because that catchphrase has been around in the lingo of modern pop culture, whatever, for quite some time now. But if they want to use it as a catchphrase for him, have at it. Good luck with that. And then to close it out here, Matt Camp questions if he can handle it all. Theory, that is, because as I mentioned in my own SmackDown audio review yesterday, I think it's pretty cool that Theory has like 4 or 5 different rivals right now. I mean, I didn't even mention the 5th one, but I'll mention him in a second. But, he has issues with Madcap Moss on SmackDown. He's teasing a cash-in on Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. So that's another 2 enemies. I was thinking of just 1, but that's 2 right there. That's 3 in total. Bobby Lashley, he's challenging to a rematch of the United States Championship at SummerSlam. That's 4. Dolph Ziggler attacked him on Monday's Raw. That's 5. And I didn't even acknowledge the fact that yesterday, in my SmackDown audio review, I didn't talk about this yesterday, a 6th potential rival is John Cena, who he interrupted on Raw backstage about a couple of weeks ago. And that was the rumored match for SummerSlam, which obviously isn't happening. So maybe at WrestleMania, who knows. But that's 6 people he has issues with right now in the last 3 weeks alone. I actually really like that. I wish we would see more of that. Kevin Owens was kind of doing that a little bit in NXT years and years ago, but I'm glad they're doing that now with Theory. And then to close it out here, they promote next week's SmackDown, which will feature Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey going face-to-face, and the return of Brock Lesnar to the Blue Brand. And that was it for Talking Smack for July 16, 2022. Decent show here. I actually like the fact they did not have one of their pointless, analysts here on the show, Booker T or JBL, who they had JBL on the show last week, and his service was fucking awful because I think he was in Bermuda or one of those type of countries where he finds himself off and doing charity stuff or golf tournaments or something like that, maybe both. And the service was just not good. So I'm glad they held off on it for this week. Those guys don't really add anything. Now that, Megan Moran and Matt Camp have the greatest analysis of all time, but I actually appreciate the show being shorter. This was a shorter show because they did not have the pointless analysis from the third wheel. And they didn't, they did a lot of recaps too, so not exactly a must-see edition of Talking Smack, or rather the SmackDown. I said the Talking Smack this entire time. It's the SmackDown LowDown now. I got to get that right. It's the SmackDown LowDown. I still have it in the same playlist as my other reviews of Talking Smack, but it is a different show name now. I got to get that down. I got to get that right each time I come in here to talk about it. But we heard from New Day. We heard from Lacey. I thought Lacey's interview actually was the best thing on this entire episode. And Madcap's promo I thought was good too. Madcap is very well spoken, I'll give him that. I still find him generic, but he's coming along nicely. I just wish they would get rid of the stupid name, the Madcap name, which doesn't really serve much of a purpose. But when he's not doing the dumb jokey shit and laughing all the time, he's actually he's pretty good on the mic, I'll give him that. So maybe he'll continue to improve and win me over. But thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. If you haven't already, check out my latest interview, I believe up earlier today, with WWE Hall of Famer Goldberg, who we've not seen in the ring since Elimination Chamber back in February. He's on the channel right now, talking all about his new documentary airing tonight on A&E, WWE Legends episode of Biography. We had one on Taker last week, which is why my interview went up with him last Friday. And Goldberg's going up today. So if you haven't already checked it out, it's up in article form right now on Bleacher Report and in video form right here on the channel from earlier today. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys. Happy July 17th, one of my favorite days of the year, as it marks 11 years since Money in the Bank 2011 and that amazing Punk Cena match, which I got to go back and rewatch a little bit later on. And I think today actually marks either the first day that I uploaded the network and chill, or I announced the show 6 years ago at this point. So I've been doing this show here on the channel for 6 years, which is crazy. And here's to many more. Have a great one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.